are really, really excited for today. FanatiCon is something that we've been working on now for many months. Really, the idea is that all of us love certain brands but are completely fanatical about certain brands. We have with us Jesse Krisa, who is not only a super fan of the wrestling world, but also a super fan of Airstream. And we're going to have her kick us off by telling us her story.
Hello, as you can see, I've been branding myself for about 14 years now as the ODB BAM. And I've been with Total Nonstop Action wrestling for about 7 years now on Spike TV every Wednesday. But I can't wrestle forever. I'm getting old, so time to explore and brand myself even more. And it's kind of funny, I love traveling, I love being on the road, and it all started with this little tattoo right here with the Airstream trailer. And I always loved the silver bullet. I was like, I want to go on the road with that. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going somewhere. And so I went on Craigslist, and what do you know, I found one. Found a 1978 International Airstream. It's about a 33-footer. The Airstream is becoming a big part of me. I've been tweeting about it. I've been... just social media is a huge thing for branding. So I think Airstream is opening up a whole new door for me, whole new journey.
Airstream's an 83-year-old company. We're currently in Jackson Center, Ohio, which is pretty much a cornfield. Sorry, Jackson Center. We're started by a man named Wally Byam. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history because I think it's really critical to our brand. I think his spirit lives today in everything that we do. And I think there's something to learn about his tenacity. So Wally loved to camp. He was a merchant seaman. He's originally from Oregon. And he got married, and his wife didn't want to camp. She didn't want to sleep on the ground. And so he said, I got to fix this. So he started making trailers, and then his wife loved it. He started making these little silver wonders, and started to get his friends and people involved in the brand and asking people to come and go camping with him. And so before I knew it, he had a group of people. Today, the club is called the Wally Byam Caravan Club International, or WBCCI. They're made up of the greatest generation and then people younger than us. It's a wide range of people. And the one thing that all these people share is this wanderlust. They want to see the world. Something about his story is resonant today because the spirit of him is in all the people who buy Airstreams, and they are part of the fan base. But it was him and his authentic point of view and going out there and actually doing it. He wasn't just making a product that he was trying to sell to people or schlep to people. I mean, he was living it, and he was bringing his friends, and then he was telling the world about it.
Our fans, they completely transformed our marketing campaign for this year based on 6 games in the playoffs. You know, we lost 2 games in Denver to start, and everybody was kind of down, and it came from our coaching staff. I wish we'd have told them to say it because it would have made us look better, but our coaches said, yeah, the fans were great. Our fans are going to be so much better when we get back. And by God, it helped that every playoff game we played was pretty much 8 or 8:30 due to TV, so we had a little pregame party at 5, people came, they had some drinks. I think there's 2 things you really need to do in social, in digital, really one, and that is make money. And I think a lot of teams, it's hard to do that because you can be great at Facebook and great at Twitter, but if you're not somehow have a revenue stream out of it, what are you doing? How's that gonna, it's just not, I'm not gonna have a job if I can't somehow say that I'm making money off this. So there's 2 ways we do that, and one is just being informative. You've got to give your fans the information they need, but you've also got to be entertaining to a point where you can't be too entertaining. There's 2 groups of people. There's the group of people that are coming to our games and the group of people that aren't, and you've got to give equal weight to both. You can't just pay attention to the 18,000 people that are in our building every night, because you saw one of our taglines too is creating a greater state of hockey. We do a summer road tour, but we've got to do things, just to involve all of Minnesota, and also, the season ticket holders are not going to be there forever. They're going to get older. They're going to have other things to do. One of the things a lot of sports teams, I come from a primarily a minor league sports background, and man, it takes so much time to recultivate people. You can't just wait until your base drops and then say, hey, we need more fans. So one of the things we try to do with social, all those people might not be able to afford a 40-game season ticket package right now, but maybe we can get them in the door to 10 games this year. they've got kids, they're doing this, they're doing that, and when they have a little more disposable income and they can afford it in 10 years, then maybe they'll move up to be a full season ticket holder.
We had talked for a number of years in the Post-it brand around that great technology that we have, and a couple years ago we started seeing this resurgence in culture, and it was in things like being featured in movies, talk shows, etc. And then most recently, Steve Jobs passing away. And if you think about an innovator in the digital space, what did people come around, what did they rally around to kind of honor him and his memory? You found Apple stores around the entire United States and the world using Post-it notes up on the wall saying, "Thank you, Steve, we'll miss you," etc. And that paired with some amazing artwork that we saw from the Post-it Wars that erupted in Paris back in 2011 really opened up our leadership team's eyes to say, listen, we can also tell our story by really reflecting how our consumers are using our product out in the marketplace. How do we use our social media properties, and what are we talking to people about? It's really for us all about unlocking possibilities. So that could be unlocking possibilities with artwork, right? It could be with communicating better, so connecting one-on-one. It could be around ideating and collaboration. As we know, some of our heaviest Post-it note users are people who actually work in user experience design because they start with Post-it notes. And finally, it's obviously that classic to-do list, right? It's how do I get things done in a manageable way? In a world that has really pushed into technology, obviously, we still are seeing people using Post-it notes now more than ever because it continues to be the best way to, whether it's, move ideas around, grab just a quick Post-it note and jot down an idea or share a thought with a person they have that sort of handwriting, genuine, authentic sort of nature of that whole process. It's something that we're now able to reflect in our social media properties across Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram primarily. So just a few examples. So this year we've really started investing in kind of going out, looking at how people are using our products and reflecting that back. This is from a gentleman who read the entire series Game of Thrones, and every time someone was murdered, I'm sorry, is that too early to be saying murdered? Killed? I don't know. He placed a Post-it page marker in that book. I'm not sure if you can tell the breadth of colors and killings that have happened, that have occurred. But this is something we found on Tumblr, and we contacted and we said, hey, do you mind if we share this? We'd love to share the story of why you do this, how you did this, why did you pick the Post-it products to sort of feature this? So if you think about that idea of how we started our business back with needing a page marker and a hymnal, and here we are at Game of Thrones. It's sort of interesting sort of spin on how we've evolved. Here we've seen, and this has been something that's sort of been around in the news lately, but a number of weddings have been incorporating Post-it notes. So, the team back there, where's the 3M team? There they are. That's my core 3M team. Woo-hoo! So they worked on this, Jeff and Erica did, and this is something where we had someone contact us on our page, which happens a lot. Essentially what we found was that a couple, Sammy and Jason, actually met in the office, as many couples do, and they started, kind of flirting and, getting to know one another with the use of Post-it notes, the flirting Post-it note. It became essentially sort of the spark that, started their relationship, and it grew into, Jason proposing to Sammy with Post-it notes. They reached out to us. We said, hey, this is great. Let's help you guys celebrate this, and we ended up developing a number of Post-it note bouquets for their wedding day, centerpieces, etc. So we've sort of gone beyond just trying to help, again, just to-do lists for a wedding, and how do we take kind of that creativity angle and really amplify that in their story.
I can talk about with Game Informer, one of the things that we are kind of based on and built around when you talk about fans is we started as game fans. We were guys who loved video games. What we did, we had the opportunity to make a magazine. Someone came to me after I was in a video game store here in Eden Prairie even, where I was selling video games. He was like, hey, you know a lot about video games. Do you want to write reviews of them? And I was like, are you kidding? My checklist as a 5-year-old was be a rock star, write about video games. So the rock star thing did not work out, as we proved before, but the video game thing did. And so, all our readers are fans, and we kind of built our whole brand around the fact that we wanted to engage them and talk about them and take part in that kind of fanaticism with them. We started the magazine, and we were very lucky in that we were able to make a lot of mistakes. We did a lot of dumb things, but we always did them in the spirit of love and passion for video games. And I think that our love and passion of video games has transferred to our readers. And as things have grown from, in the 90s, we were hundreds of thousands of readers, which we were amazed by. Our goals were, if we could be the #1 video game magazine in the United States and have 500,000 readers, I would have danced in the streets, basically. But we went on to, right now we're at 7.5 million globally. So our passion has really fueled us. And so the magazine has grown to be the #1 video game magazine in the world. At one point, we were the 3rd largest consumer magazine in the country, behind AARP, which has 2. So basically, we were losing to a lot of old people. It's been really exciting, but our fans are amazing. We have GameInformer.com, where we've kind of let them blog and talk on their own, create their own conversations. And what we do is we try to give them the news and information that they want. They determine what we do. We spend a lot of time trying to appease them. And that has grown our brand significantly. And one of the key cores for us is going back to who we are and kind of those grassroots, in that, to me, as the editor-in-chief, our product is so important, and our brand kind of comes from the fact that we have to be honest, right? All of our fans play the same games we play. So if we're not straight up with them, if we're not trying to create a relationship with them where they can trust us, it kind of all falls apart. So we use Twitter, we use Facebook, and our shows and our podcasts to kind of reinforce that relationship with them. And we've had crazy things happen. We do an art section in the magazine. We get guys who are amazing artists send us art for free. Literally, I would say tens of thousands of pieces of art that have been sent to us over the years. And so that's kind of one of those things that it's built around that passion of games. And gamers are indeed passionate.
Well, I have to tell you, this has been just absolutely fascinating. Can we give them a big round of applause?